Welcome to the Image Home Improvement Show. We've got a great lineup planned for you today. I'm Steve Dubell.
And I'm Terry of Terry's Consign and Design Furnishings.
And I'm Dan Hayden of DEC Building Consultants.
We've got all the information you need to know from the roof to the foundation. You know, we've got a home we're going to go to right now that you really need to see because its foundation, or as they say, some of the bones may not be as good as we thought. But we're going to take care of that right now. Well, let me tell you, where do I begin? This house has multiple challenges, which I love challenges because it's a great thing to be able to take a home that's in this kind of condition and turn it around and make it something that is really sellable and that somebody would really want. One of the challenges, as you can see behind me, was a homeowner was dangerous with his tools, where he decided that he was going to do some creative ductwork and try and push some air conditioning into the garage that they converted without a permit. The other challenge is that the master bathroom needs an upgrade. The final challenge is to bring all this together with all the different things, the flooring, the painting, everything, all the new countertops, the bathroom conversions, to have all this done within 30 days and back on the market. So this way we can make sure that some lucky homeowner is going to have a great looking home.
This is actually one of the ugliest homes I've ever bought. Actually, it's in the top 3. I wouldn't say it's the ugliest. I've had uglier, but the things that I liked about this was, number one, the price. Okay, the bank was aware of the condition of the home as well as I was. Number two, my team, which is in place to fix these homes, can do it quick, expeditiously. As we know in this business, time is money. I know that the recipe for success that I use on most of these homes is we're coming in, we're ripping out all the countertops. Many times we're looking at the cabinets to see if the cabinets are nice enough to keep, and in this particular instance they are. We're ripping out the carpetings. We're pretty much ripping out everything in this house. So when the next owner has it, they're pretty much going to have a brand new home. This is going to be a great home for the next buyer. We're going to do a lot of beautiful things in this home. First thing we'll do is we're going to be replacing all this carpet, which is right here, all this tile. These are all going to have granite countertops all around here. There's going to be granite countertops. It's going to be beautiful new painting. We're going to scrape the ceiling of the popcorn ceiling. Maintenance is bad, so we're going to rip out all the old stuff that needs to be trimmed down and fixed. As well as we're going to put some nice pavers out front. The whole outside of the house is going to be painted just as well as the interior. So we're going to have brand new fresh paint inside and out. And it's just going to be a beautiful home. We're done. It's going to have a nice little shady area for people to sit out in the front, and it's going to be decorative and be nice to have a cup of coffee with your wife or spouse some morning and just sit down on a Sunday morning.
Starting on day one today, we had Stardust Building Supplies, our partner, our green recycling partner, come in and take out all the usable appliances that were still here, and they were all usable. The refrigerator, the stove, the vent hood, all of that left, and it was loaded on the truck. And also our good friend Kyle came in from Dragon Demo, is now starting to literally take this house apart. Everything that needs to go is going to be gone, so it'll be stripped down completely so we could start the rebuilding process on day 5.
Stardust, actually, it's a community organization. We try to allow everyone within the community to feel that they're a part of it. Stardust is a big family. I love working in that family. The reason I got started with Stardust 5 years ago is because I felt that there was an opportunity to provide a service and give back to the community in a way that I couldn't do in any for-profit industry or a profit-driven industry. One of the biggest opportunities, I think, is that we draw a connection between anyone within the community. It doesn't matter what your economic bracket is, your income level, or even the place that you live. We treat every client the same regardless, of where they come from, or what they have to donate. Each donation is special to us. We feel that it's a chance for an individual or a family to give back to the community through this program. The program itself will then take these items, keep them out of the landfills. They'll go back into a home, be put back into use. To tell you a story, we have moved granite slabs out of a home that other people would just say, how did you get that out of the home? Intact, out of the home, onto the truck, and then back to the warehouse, without any breakage or anything occurring to it. We use a lot of science in what we do. There's leverage and fulcrums and points in which we can move things that would seem impossible to move otherwise. And that I enjoy. I like the challenge.
What we do with Dragon Demo is we basically run a remodeling demolition business. And with that in mind, we do a lot of just the dirty work of tear outs. We tear down walls, take out kitchens, baths, flooring, drop ceilings, drop roofs, smaller scale demolition. Usually what you see on a lot of the shows of remodeling, you see the homeowners or the contractors smashing and pulling things apart and just making a big mess, which for me and what we do, it just actually creates hours of extra cleanup. And at times you don't know what's behind walls, and you smash walls, you just start cutting through walls without, peeking in and exploring inside them. You can cut pipes, you can cut wires, and not only is it detrimental to the home, people can get hurt. And so we actually do save time by taking our time in extraction instead of just smashing. The walls as well in here, there's a lot of makeshift walls that were added on. This is actually a garage that was created into some form of room, and basically we're just going to come through and cut them at the roof line and then where the walls meet, and just kind of pull apart. And then once we get a good idea of what's going, that's when we can actually start yanking things apart.
All right, so watch your step here, Steve. First thing I want to point out is that there's a huge root ball underneath this mound here. Let me clear that up for you. I was talking about the root system in the house. Well, do you see the root ball right here? This here is eaten by termites. You can see all the damage here.
Now, one of the things that I think a lot of people do not know, like for instance, this root ball, okay? People think, well, termites like wood, but do they really like trees?
They love trees.
Yeah, even though they get wood from trees, but sometimes they don't think that they will tunnel into a root system.
Well, they will. Termites generally will not eat a live organism. What happens with trees is as the roots grow out, they don't always survive.
When they get dry and they're just there.
Yeah,
then
a
they're
termite will
open
start
for attack.
consuming it. They're going to consume up to where the point of the life is, and there's moisture in the plant. They're going to stop feeding on it, and they're going to branch out. Here's a prime example of the foraging of termites. This is basically a tunneling system of theirs, and this is what they do in the ground everywhere, but more in a broader spectrum. Here's a couple other pieces of wood. I'm assuming there was a shed on the back of the property.
There was.
And the termites were there was no protection.
They were having a field day.
No, this was consumed. This is probably 40% consumed right here. The integrity of this wood is gone.
I mean, they've attacked it so much, unless you knew wood sizes, you'd never be able to recognize the size of wood that was.
You wouldn't, well, the weight of the wood is gone. The interior portion of the wood is gone. The strength of the wood is gone. And that's generally what termites will do, is they'll eat the interior portion of the wood along where you don't see them on the outside. And then your wood gives way.
Sure.
Beams, full, ceiling joists, whatever. All right, let me go. I got a spot inside I want to show you. I was talking to you about the crack outside. Mm-hmm. Well, right here's, if you see this crack, it runs all the way through the middle of the slab, and it goes to the next weakest point in the concrete slab. And these cracks in this structure, during my inspection, I found probably about 100, 150 feet of them. I want to show you something in the bathroom.
Okay,
This is the big problem.
Uh-oh, let's go check that out.
Okay, so this house got several problems. Obviously, there's been a moisture leak because the wood has been decayed. You can see the mold in here. It doesn't look like black mold. It's just like a little fungus.
One of the things that we noticed before we demoed the shower was that there was a tremendous amount of decay in the tile, grout missing and stuff. So that's not a big surprise to us that we knew that there's some deterioration. And we find that a lot in a lot of different showers that we do.
Yeah, did you notice all the termite consumption here?
Yeah.
I mean, I could almost stick my finger into this. So you got termites into this whole section right here. Now you got this plumbing protrusion. With the type of construction you have here, more than likely, this is the cause of where the termites are getting through, where that plumbing protrusion is actually coming up through the slab.
Through, right?
And the termites have forged along, and they've actually found an entry point either here or over on this side. So the way we're going to solve this problem is actually go on the other side of this wall, and we'll be able to treat and not drill through the plumbing. And we'll drill vertically down around this area, over along here, and inject chemical along there. So as the termites come up, and then we'll also be able to put a little bit down on each one of these.
Okay.
And I didn't know if you noticed this, Steve, but I think this is termite damage too, didn't you?
Could be. Yeah.
And somebody's puttied it all up.
When we replace the shower is actually going to be, this is going to be leveled out.
Yeah.
And so that this way, the shower will actually be a little wider, so that base molding will definitely come off.
Okay.
But what would your recommendation be, for instance, okay, we're gonna fill this in now,
Okay.
raise the drain. What would be the recommendation so that we don't have any termite issues coming through the filled area?
Yeah, because once you fill this in, you're never going to be able to treat it again.
Yeah.
The only way you'll be able to treat it is from the exterior. And with this high stem, with this sunken, what we call or Arizona tubs, that you're going to have to dig down so far. What I want to do is I want to drill all the way around here. And if you disturb this area, I want to come back and pre-treat that before you pour that back.
Okay.
So that we get a good chemical barrier around where you're going to move this up. So you're
Okay.
obviously going to have to dig out to get down there. So I want to go ahead and treat this area.
Okay.
We'll drill all this and put product in there. That should take care of the problem.
Okay, sounds good. One of the things that I love about this home and working with Jeff is that Jeff brings me challenges all the time. So it's not going to be an easy fix, like a painting carpet, countertop thing. We'll be in and out in a week. No, this is going to take a little bit of work. But the challenge is that when we get it done, he's going to have a great home to be able to sell someone, and we're going to have a couple of more notches in our belt for another great remodel, another great challenge that we could bring you and show you that with a little bit of elbow grease and some good common sense, we could turn this house into better than its former self.
That was great information. Now stay tuned. We'll be right back.